Hello and welcome, friends, to a little series I like to call Finding Best Girl. In each video, we'll scrutinize a game to the nth degree with one goal in mind, determining as definitively as possible who Best Girl is in the most objectively subjective way we can. Technically speaking, no game is off limits, though we'll try to steer clear of games like visual novels where dating might be an actual component, at least at first, since the existence of that particular mechanic already forces this kind of debate, which makes the whole endeavor feel less interesting. Additionally, being born with or currently sporting typically male-associated equipment does not disqualify a character from the running. All a character needs to do is hit the criteria I'll lay out momentarily more exceptionally than any other character in the game. If I do my job right, this will be an outright bloodbath, and feelings will get hurt because I've got some pretty lofty standards for a game's best girl. Not to worry though, we'll be sure to go through the honorable mentions and pinpoint precisely why each one of them falls woefully short and, more to the point, why your opinion is garbage and your waifu is trash. Now without further ado, let's have my own personal best girl Desi explain the rules of the game. First and foremost, best girl cannot be protag-kun. Truth be told, I debated long and hard about this one, and while a game's given protag can certainly exhibit some stellar best girl qualities, I feel like this relatively arbitrary self-imposed limitation keeps the conversation interesting. But boy howdy does it hurt my credibility right out of the gate in regard to the whole objectively subjective thing I'm trying to cultivate here. Be that as it may, I think by keeping protag-kun and best girl as distinct archetypes, this will afford us a better opportunity to see how a game's best girl can shine so bright, even at times eclipsing protag-kun. On a related note that helps justify our first rule, best girl has gotta have meaningful interactions with protag-kun. This will ensure that we're really approaching this analysis from a writing standpoint because it's not about how best girl makes us, the player, feel, it's about best girl's impact on protag-kun. That being the case, it should go without saying it's not enough to be a rootin' cutie patootie. Best girl's gotta steal the only heart that matters more than ours for the purposes of the series, that of protag-kuns, no matter the pronouns. That's why I said no game is off limits. Female protag, NB protag, doesn't matter, best girl is an archetype. We're gonna get mother effin' semiological up in this bitch. Next up, our best girl must have strong characterization and/or be given some compelling character growth. This is why feelings will be hurt. It ain't about looks or moe-ness at all, folks. Your trash waifu could make all them peepees tingle. If she don't got the characterization chops to make her a relevant, impactful best girl, then she belongs on a body pillow, not in this video. Additionally, our Supremo best girl has to demonstrate a relevance to the in-game world. This could be accomplished through meaningful interactions with the rest of the cast of playable characters or with NPCs in general. Whatever the case, best girl can't just solely exist for protag-kun, no matter how badly I might want her to exist solely for me. Finally, best girl has to be a major character, playable or not. This one might not be so hard and fast, depending on the situation, but I want to rule out the possibility of one-line characters and such getting through. This is mostly as a courtesy to y'all. My choice for best girl might surprise you or even piss you off, but the reason for that reaction shouldn't be because of something cheap like, but don't y'all remember that one random last trainer who talked about tripping over a Geodude? Moe to the max! And if you want to make a case for considering a minor character or generic NPC, then that better be one hell of a line. On a side note too, perhaps we'll do a spin-off series where we determine which of the most obscure and/or minor characters in a game still somehow manage to exude best girl energy. Honestly, that could be pretty fun. But anywho, with all the above out of the way, I think it's time we begin our objectively subjective analysis. Feel free to let me know how garbage my opinion is and how trash my waifu is in the comments below. We can disagree, especially on such an important, contentious topic, but let's try to keep it classy, y'all. You know, as classy as we can given the subject matter. In all fairness, if you're still here, you're probably at least as big of a degenerate as I am, but jury's still out on who's the bigger pleb. Let's find out, shall we? For our first game, we'll consider one I somewhat recently completed for the 4th or 5th time in my life, Megaman Legends. For those unfamiliar with this game, it is quite possibly my favorite game to feature the Blue Bomber for a lot of reasons that I'll get to in a second. But first, let's back it up to when Raven was in elementary school. His first encounter with Megaman would be at his friend's house down the road. His friend also had a PlayStation, and the two chums would play hours upon hours of Mega Man 8. This glorious game is a better example of what typical Mega Man games are like. 2D action platformers that test the mettle of even the most agile and quick-fingered gamers. To this day, it's still one of my favorite Mega Man games that I'll never beat. I can get all the way to Dr. Wily's stage, and then I've got to tap out. I know my limits. That aside, Mega Man Legends and its sequel take the Blue Bomber in a wildly different direction. First of all, it's 3D, and that additional D makes a capital D difference, let me tell you. Secondly, Capcom provides us with much more of an action RPG experience. We have a whole new backstory and world, and exploration of it rewards us with high-powered equipment upgrades. We also have side quests and mini-games. You know, standard fare of the genre. It's pretty cool, especially for someone who gravitates more toward RPGs and ARPGs in the first place. Does the game have its share of problems? Absolutely. But we're not here to talk about any of that, because this is not a review of the game. That being said, look kindly upon this classic and give it a chance. The overall experience, at least in my book, overshadows any of its flaws. Just don't play it on PSTV. For whatever reason, it runs terribly there. Anywho, let's begin our endeavor and find our best girl. And for this one, I wanted to take things nice and easy, with a bit of a lob, which is why I'm starting with Mega Man Legends. We'll get hella contentious in future installments, don't you worry. But I feel like starting off with a relatively straightforward one will allow for the focus to be on the overall format of this series as opposed to the content. We've all got to understand what it is we're doing here if it's going to be enjoyable for everybody. We'll hit the ground running in the next one, but for now, let's take it nice and slow and make sure we all understand the assignment. Now, it should come as no surprise to anyone who is in any way familiar with this game that Tron Bonne is best girl, hands down. Any competition is laughable at best. Quick side note, I won't usually start off by revealing best girl right away, but there's literally no contest here, so why should you watch the rest of this video then? Well, because it's the why, not the who, that's really interesting. And we'll get there. But first, let's run through Tron's pathetic excuses for competition. And first up is Roll Casket. Now, when I first played this game as a spring chicken, did I want in my heart of hearts for Roll to be best girl? You bet I did. But I was so stupid and so wrong. You might take issue with such a hard stance right out of the gate, but let me explain. Without question, Roll Casket is meant to be our leading lady, with an unwavering constancy that rivals the Penelope of Homeric fame. Roll is set up as Mega Man's better half from a narrative perspective. While Mega Man risks life and bionic limb venturing deep into the unexplored depths of Reaverbot-infested ruins on Cadillacs Island, Roll provides essential support and backup as a spotter. Questionable name choice aside, Roll checks off a lot of the criteria established in the video's introduction for Best Girl. So what gives? Let's start with what Roll excels at. She is not Protag-kun, obviously. Did that one even bear mentioning? She also has meaningful interactions with Protag-kun, especially if you play the game as a good boy and give Roll lots of presents found on your various excursions. If you do this and then enter her room at a certain point in the game, you'll walk in on her changing, which we all know is a staple of any romance anime. Aside from perhaps the most memorable of interactions, Roll literally helps Mega Man move forward toward the conclusion of the game. Though I would often complain about the overall utility of her brand of support while being peppered by enemy bullets, there's no questioning Roll's significant impact on Mega Man throughout the game via her interactions with him. All I've done so far is sing Roll's praises, so why can't she be best girl? Truth be told, aside from one glaring exception, Roll checks all the boxes and does an adequate job of it. But will we accept a best girl who is merely adequate? Heavens to Betsy, no. And with that out of the way, let's talk about what she's clearly lacking. Roll really doesn't have much character growth, and what little she does just isn't all that interesting. Also, for all the boxes she does check, I'll demonstrate in a little bit how Tron Bonne just does it all so much better. But first, let's take a little detour down honorable mention lane. Our first honorable mention goes to Ira, the patient in the hospital. Again, if you engage in the side content, this young lady will steal your heart with one hell of a comeback story. Is it a touch on the saccharine side? You betcha! But Mega Man gets to play the hero and learn a valuable lesson about government funding in the process. Next up is the museum curator. Though she checks almost no boxes, she is bringing brat vibes to Cadillacs, and I am here for it. If you simply choose to get taken in by her charms right from the get-go, during the meet-cute on top of the hill overlooking the museum, you might not ever witness the appeal. However, if, when bearing a potential object of curiosity for her museum display, you refuse to fork it over, you'll see precisely what I mean. She knows what she wants, she knows how to be sweet about it, and she 100% knows how to put you in your place if you don't give her exactly what she wants. B-R-A-T. I love it. Other than that, we don't really have much else to talk about besides our main event. I mean, Paprika's owner is only memorable because that dog is so damn cute, so enough delay, let's talk about Best Girl, and let's go through the criteria one step at a time. Again, the first one is fairly simple. Best Girl cannot be Protag-kun. As one of the main antagonists, we're pretty safe here. Also, as one of the main antagonists, we satisfy criterion 5, which states that Best Girl must be a major character. 2 birds, 1 scone. Next up, Best Girl has to have meaningful interactions with Protag-kun. And let me tell you, this is where Tron undeniably outshines Roll. While Roll helps Megaman move forward and again exhibits that quintessential constancy, Tron's interactions with Megaman have so much more interesting subtext. On the surface, she's a baddie who will stop at nothing to plunder the seemingly defenseless island for all it's worth. And while she is featured heavily in the various boss fights, the cutscenes before and after each one tell a different story. During some pretty heated encounters with the Blue Bomber, Tron can't help but develop feelings for him. Feelings that will frustrate her and cause her to falter and question. And man, is that interesting. The baddie with the most riz in this whole ding-dang game, so much in fact that she gets her own spin-off game, develops a crush on Protag-kun. Overall, the writing is not the main event in this game, but these parts were stellar. And what's even better is that Tron also has an impact on Megaman. Things aren't black and white. She's not just a villain he has to take down. Time and again, he demonstrates that he's genuinely concerned about her well-being. More to the point, he's overjoyed at one point to find out that she's alive. You know you found Best Girl? You put her in the antagonist seat and watch her still win over Protag-kun. Need we even go on? But go on we will. Though I feel like we've bled into criterion number 3, which states that Best Girl must have solid characterization and character growth. Play this game and you will see that Tron has more depth than the ruins all over Catalog's Island. Whereas Roll's motivating forces are much more straightforward, Tron exhibits poignant moments of conflictedness over and over again. But even better, she never comes off as wishy-washy. The writers nailed this. She still comes off so strong because we've bought in. Her internal struggle resonates with us in such a powerful way that we can't help but root for her. Finally, Best Girl must demonstrate a relevance to the in-game world. And where would we be without Tron Bonne? Her presence adds such an interesting dynamic to both the band of pirates and the group's relation to our heroes. Without her, we'd have too much slapstick and raw firepower without any artfulness. Additionally, while Teasel and Bonne mostly inspire general fear from the masses, Tron is the only part of the trio to actually have one-on-one interactions with any of the Catalog's residents. I think that has a lot to do with her being the most fleshed out and relatable of the 3, further proving my point. And with that, we've come out the other side of this relatively intact. If I'm reading the room correctly, not many people will disagree with my Best Girl designation. Nevertheless, I hope you got something out of this video. If you feel so inclined, let me know what that is. Did you leave inspired to consider your own designations of Best Girl more deeply, or perhaps to develop your own criteria for character analysis and evaluation? Or, the true sign that my video was a success, did you leave wanting to play Mega Man Legends for the first time? Whatever the case may be, I hope you stay curious, you degenerates.